Alright, video response to Fred, conference report, who, I'm sorry to say, has made a truly terrible, horrible, putrid video also. I sort of saw it coming. He's been talking around these issues. You could sort of see that he just emotionally can't get comfortable with the idea. So he's got to... So he bailed. That's basically all he did. He just bailed on logic and said, I'm going to go with what I feel too, because that feels better. It was pretty disgusting. So anyway, it's almost like these people don't watch my videos and then they comment on them, and you're just like, what the fuck? But anyway. Alright, so the first thing I think he slopped right over was this distinction between pain and pleasure, and the fact that they are different things. So there's no point in saying anything without highlighting that point. He just basically went right back to the utilitarian argument, the unnegative one, that somehow they balance out, that they're made out of the same thing. That they're both just made to make us move through the environment in a certain way. And fundamentally, that's not true. On so many levels. On the first level, most pains don't stop you from moving. They just direct you in a direction. Once you're already rolling, once you already have the desire, passion, momentum in place, they are directional signals. But that's about it. They don't play a substantive role in terms of the real motivator. Very few people are paralyzed by fear. Let's just put it that way. Completely paralyzed by fear. And desire is everything. That's just the whole game. It's creating this illusion that there's a golden rainbow thing, or that there's the little half, like the people buy that jewelry with two pieces. So like they can give one piece to them, one piece to the mate, and they can feel all connecty. So there's that thing created up in our heads, this desire mechanism, that makes us feel half, and says, I gotta go find my whole, I gotta find the rest of my stuff, the rest of my pieces. And we push through to do that. Now there's no parallel negative syndrome that possesses us. The argument's just basic. There's no opposite to addiction. There's no opposite to a heroin addict. There really isn't, as a practical matter. So it's just very unfair to the ton of videos I've made trying to explain these differences and these distinctions and point out that pain and pleasure aren't the same thing. And if we really look at it, most of our pleasures are made out of a deprivation, a pain, a misery that's imposed on us if we don't go seek the fucking pleasure. It's not even that we're being attracted by carrots. We are being whipped with the illusion that it's a carrot. We're being whipped with a fucking carrot. It's just fucking bullshit. So anyway, there's no equality between these things. Alright, so let's get to the second part of this video, which is really, the second conclusion, which is just flat out, what's a good English word for, crazy pie. But anyway, I can't think of one right now. The opposite of brilliant, of course. Unbrilliant, completely unbrilliant conclusion. Even though it's broken, so what, who cares? Basically, that's it. It doesn't matter, it's just mattering. And we're back to the modern mystic. We're back to Pyro. We're back to these people who take no account for the overall failure that is consumption and reproduction without any accomplishment besides consumption and reproduction on an island where they're cannibalizing each other. And so Fred, the inescapable conclusion of your drivel is that if you were God and you created this fucking mess, you wouldn't sober up and say, oh, fuck that. Noah, time to flood that shit. You wouldn't even do what that God did. You wouldn't even do what the silly fable God did and flood the shithole. you'd just sit there and say, that's okay, I'm going back to sleep. So if you were a scientist and you accidentally create a consuming and reproducing little machine, and you statistically know that it will start eating each other, and it's going to get sentience, and it'll spend billions of years, not a few centuries as a human being, drawing little pictures and stuff, no, billions of years, ripping the flesh off of each other. And it'll be deliberately constructed, not deliberately, but as part of the functionality. It will end up being constructed with a mortality. Okay, so it's going to die anyway. And that's the beauty of it, right? Go ahead and kill it because it's going to die anyway. I mean, that's just perfect. What a perfect rationalization life has built into it. Well, it's all going to die anyway. So who cares if you rape and pillage it first? The death will be a rape and a pillage. So who fucking cares? And all you people, in my opinion, just give license to anybody who does have that kind of psychotic bullshit going on in their head. Because you really do neutralize suffering to nothing. You turn into nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Because if this was your experiment, if you were responsible, you'd say, oh, aren't I a brilliant asshole? Look what I made. Pretty colors. Swirly stuff. Yeah, fuck you. I mean, just so fucking lame. Like I said, to concede that you think it's running a deficit, it's broken, you're the ultimate Dr. Frankenstein. Even Dr. Frankenstein tried to kill the monster, though. He thought he had something good. He thought he was doing good. It sucks. It's a piece of shit. And then you'll still sit there and say, well, I gotta go stop the villagers from sticking a fork in it. What the fuck? What the fuck? So what am I supposed to make of that crap? And that's just it. It's just fucking crap. It's rationalizing, emotionalizing bullshit. And certainly emotions are going to be part of conversation between human beings. They're emotional animals. But the arguments, the logic has to be there. And where's the logic in your argument? Like I said, the implications of what you said was that if you were intelligence scooting through the universe and you found a planet with a bunch of organisms cannibalizing each other, just flat out cannibalizing each other forever, you just drive on by. You just say fine, and they're all going ouch and screaming. Of course, there's every sign that there's some real suffering involved. Again, but you don't think it matters. You just think suffering's a word. It's just it's not a real thing. It's just something that human beings made a word for, and so it's just this abstract concept, suffering. It doesn't have any real meaning in the real world. You see, it's just the word tree. It's not a real tree. Suffering isn't a real tree. It's just a word for a non-existent thing, you see. It's not like a tree. Tree is a tree. You see a tree. But suffering is a concept. Yeah. So it's some kind of bullshit like that. So whatever. There's nothing to say. There's whatever. That's all I got to say to this shit. So, yeah. Welcome. I hope you enjoy living in fucktardom. Because, yes, you've opened the golden gates to fucktardia and stepped right in with loopy logic, complete babble, nonsense, self-contradictory, just a big giant A-bomb of self-contradiction. Bravo. Shit. But like I said, it doesn't bother me too much because I could see it coming. You couldn't be emphatic, you couldn't be direct, you couldn't make an explicit statement in any of your last 25 videos. They were all, well, maybe this, and maybe that, and maybe, blah, 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 blah. So, whatever. So, I guess that's enough. But really, it's about the distinctions, about real definitions, about what the hell we're doing here. And for you to just play this same old bullshit game, just shove your little equal sign between the pain and the pleasure, is nonsense. And that's pretty much what you did. So, well, it's not, it's only a little bit maybe negative. So maybe it's salvageable. You didn't say that, but I mean, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you aren't completely crazy in saying Frankenstein's a good idea even when he's a bad idea. So anyway, amazing though. You people are worse than the biblical gods. Like I said, there's even God, conceded he fucked up a few times and then tried to annihilate it, tried to squish it out. And you didn't even do that. You wouldn't even do that. Yeah. So, congratulations for that too then. You're more malicious and evil than God. Anyway, until next time. Crazy fucks.